Hey everybody, welcome to the vlog. So this is our monthly vlog for the Adventures in History Book Club, which I'm so excited. Has been so much fun. I have really enjoyed it. Last month reading The Four Winds with you all, and this month we're reading this book, Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. And I just started it, so I'm going to update you a bit on that, but I just wanted to intro the vlog and welcome you and remind you that it is a spoiler-filled vlog, which I just think is so much fun. I have enjoyed watching other people's spoiler-filled vlogs. For this month, my hopes are to kind of read the book a little quicker. Last month, I felt like I just strung it out because it was a challenging book. It was a challenging month, all the things, and it was hard to vlog with my kids. So I just read the prologue of this book. So I think it was like 5 pages, and it was like action-packed. And when it starts, they're already on the trail. They have a broken wheel, all these things, and you barely kind of get into their lives before something just kind of horrific happens. And I feel like as I was reading it, first off, when it first started and they're like, her brothers were playing with bow and arrows and shooting them, and it said like, well, one of the arrows kind of went over the cliff or behind a rock or something like that. And I'm like, well, I hope nobody's out there. And then I'm like, well, that's silly, because they're like, of course nobody's out there. This is the Oregon Trail. I mean, there's nobody for miles and miles, right? But it reminded me of something. It reminded me of this time. So my husband took my big kids camping, and they were tent camping, setting up their tent. What happened was there was these sounds like whizzing that was going by, and my kids were like, what's that sound? And my husband's like, those are bullets, like somebody's shooting guns. And what they found out, I mean, he made my kids go straight to the car, of course, and like got everything put back in the car. And we found out is there was some people like just over the ridge that were shooting guns kind of into the air, into the trees sort of idea. But we were not very far out of town, so it's not like we were in the middle of nowhere. I was so mad. But anyway, this part of this book reminded me of that. It reminded me of just like shooting into nothing and assuming there's nothing there sort of idea. And oh my gosh, and then when it got to the part where the Indians showed up, oh my gosh, this says like people are dying, they're like getting hit, their wagon's getting burned, like she's taking care of her little brother, and this warrior comes out of the bushes and like clubs her on the head, and then she's getting dragged behind a horse. And I'm just like, it was just shocking from like the beginning. And I'm like, this is only like 6 pages in. And then I looked back and I'm like, oh, it's just the prologue. So I get what it's doing. It's a prologue. And then now it's going back in time to like St. Louis, and I'm like, whew. Okay, we can relax a little bit as they tell some of the backstory, because it just felt like you just got tossed into it, which, I mean, let's be honest, that works, because now I'm like hooked. It just makes me feel like, what is she going to do? She has to protect her little brother, and it just gave me the anxiety and the worry like right from the get-go. So anyway, I will touch base with you shortly. I'll get a little bit more into it, but as of now, it was like, bam, the story started. So it was so good. I get so excited with like spring and everything growing, and I've been wanting to up my houseplant game, and so that's going to happen this year. So I'm going to take you along a little bit for me. I mean, not a ton, because this is a reading vlog, and I really prefer when reading vlogs talk mostly about books, but I'm going to talk a little bit about plants and show it to you this month as well. So I went to TJ Maxx last night, and I found this planter, and it was so cheap. It was 10 bucks. And it's a fairly good size, so I think I'm going to put it over here. At least that's my plan. And so, how's that look? Okay, so I think I'm gonna put that there. And so the second one looks like this. And so it's like $6. So I don't know, I think I might put it over here. I just need to go get some plants. So anyway, I'll check back with some book updates next. All right, let me do a quick reading update for you. So I have actually been reading a decent amount today, which is really fun. It's not fun because I don't feel that great, because I got my second COVID shot yesterday, and I'm not terrible. I'm just a little tired, and I have a headache, and I kind of have like achiness. And so anyway, I've been on the couch, I've been sleeping some, and I've been reading some, and my husband's been wonderful, working on the fence out back, and so the kids have been actually out there with him a lot, like playing in the dirt and doing all the things, and so he's been fantastic. But anyway, I wanted to update you a little bit on my reading. I was able to get about to page 80 in this book, so close to a third of the way, because I think it's 300 pages, and I'm liking it. I think there's a lot of character setup at this point, as opposed to my last update where it was like the first 5 pages of just like, whoa, like this is intense, and now we're getting into the characters, which I'm really liking. I'm liking the development of Naomi. I find her unique in kind of that time frame, even though she was previously married and it seemed like she enjoyed being married. So it wasn't that she just was like free spirit, just wants to do her own thing. I just feel like she has like a strength of character, and knowing what I know from the first 5 pages, I know that things are going to get really hard for her. And as the author is developing her character kind of in these early chapters, I can see that she's going to have some fortitude. It is making me laugh how she is pursuing this John Lowry man, and he seems very stoic and like interested but not interested, and I'm curious about what role he's going to play, because if I remember right from the prologue, it was just her and her little brother Wolf, and they were the ones that were taken. And I don't know the role John is going to play, but I'm sure he's going to play a role either by like following her or trying to rescue her. But I think he's going to play a significant role in how she does being captured by the Indians. And so a couple thoughts. I'm really enjoying the setting. I mean, I am a child of the 80s, and so lift your hand if you played Oregon Trail as a kid, because I definitely did, and I loved it, and it was so much fun. And I do remember all the like, oh no, someone's been stricken with dysentery or cholera and you have to wait. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but I do remember that. And having a background in microbiology, I always do find those sections interesting, and it is crazy to think how fast it would spread through a camp. It's due to sanitation issues, and just living in the time I live in the US, that is just not our issue. And it's been a long time since we've had these issues where you have to worry about like waterborne, foodborne pathogens and what that can do, and it just how fast it can move through a family and how contagious it is. And oh my gosh, that's hard to just kind of hear that storyline, even though that's very real. Like, what I'm appreciating so far about this author's writing style is it feels like I'm kind of on the Oregon Trail. She's doing a really good job of pulling me into what it might have felt like to be a part of these wagon trains, to be a part of these groups as they're packing up camp and putting out camp, and every night, how repetitive that would feel and how it would just take so much from you. And you can have this just rose-colored glasses as to like how this is going to fix everything, and my life is terrible and I'm just going to join the Oregon Trail and it's going to be so much better. And then just the reality of life as they're starting out on their journey is just really well written, in my opinion. And also, I do like how she set up the prologue to give us that taste of what's coming, because you know it's coming and you're kind of in your head piecing together the timeline. You know they're not attacked until like her little brother's maybe like 6 months or something like that. So you know you have a little bit of time, because I'm right at the point where the baby was born and the mom isn't doing so well. And having kids myself, I can't even imagine like having a child and then keep going. Like, you know, it's like you want time to recover, but just the women back then were just tough. I just feel like they were so tough and so admirable. So anyway, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna probably try and take a nap now because I'm a little tired and it's just worn out. Has anybody else had their second COVID shot? Are you having the same experiences? Because it's definitely getting me a little bit, but it's not terrible. And so I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the vaccine and the fact that I'm on my second one and I'm like a couple weeks away from being fully vaccinated and all the things. So anyway, that's my check-in. I will keep reading or nap, not sure. Hey everybody, so I am going to take you in on a little adventure of mine. It is Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all of you out there who are mothers, who are wanting to be mothers, all of you. And my husband was kind enough to gift me a Barnes & Noble gift card for Mother's Day, and literally on Mother's Day, I'm like, I'm just gonna go use it. I'm gonna go get a coffee, browse some books without my kids, and then get a pedicure. That's actually my plan for the afternoon. And so I'm really jazzed, and I'll take you along. We'll see how that goes, or I'll just show you what books I end up picking out for myself this Mother's Day. I just wanted to take you on a little outing today. So I'm back. It is a little difficult to try and film in Barnes & Noble. I don't know how people do it, but it was fun. There was so much out there, but I picked 2 books. So I went over my gift card, but that's okay. So I got this book. So this is The End of October by Lawrence Wright. And I've seen this before, and I've been recommended this a number of times because it's about infectious disease. It's about a hemorrhagic fever and a worldwide pandemic. You know how I am if you've been following my channel, that I just love pandemic stories. So this one sounds really good. And then the other book I got. I have been wanting to read this forever, especially since Historathon, because a lot of you read this book, and that was My Dear Hamilton. So this just looks so good. It is about Eliza Hamilton, so his wife, and all that goes on in her life. And I know bits of it, but I don't know it really well, and so I'm really looking forward to diving into this one. It's by Stephanie Dre and Laura Kamai, I think is how you say her name. So, yay, I'm so excited for my purchases. So, anyway, I'm going to go get my nails done. I'm not going to vlog any of that. That's just getting my nails done. I'll check back with you on my next reading update. Hey friends, welcome back. So I wanted to do a quick update because I have actually been reading quite a bit over the last couple nights. I just never really want to vlog in the evenings. I'm just tired. So I'm just going to update you as my kids just went to sleep and I'm just doing some errands and different things like that. And so I wanted to update you a little bit about what I'm thinking about this book. So I am about halfway. So let me double check. So yeah, 178. And I feel like a lot of things have been going on in this story, which I have really enjoyed. And so let me see if I can kind of capture my thoughts a little bit on this. And so one thing that I have been really enjoying is, like I said earlier, is that prologue kind of set the stage for something's going to happen. And the story thus far, through the first like 170 pages, there's been sprinklings of that. Like for instance, when she got the goat or something like that, or when he bought the boys the bow and arrows and things like that. So I've been really enjoying kind of those little tidbits, and I know that's still coming, and I think I'm spending a lot of time trying to piece together the timeline of when that's going to happen and really at what point in their relationship is that going to happen, because I just got to the point where they decided they're going to get married, and they're going to get married at Fort Bridger or something like that. I feel like I'm really rooting for them as a couple. I wasn't sure going into this book if it was going to be a romance, but I have really enjoyed that aspect of the story of them just figuring each other out and building a relationship on the Oregon Trail, which sounds quite difficult, honestly. And so a couple other things. So I've really enjoyed the setting. I feel like I've really enjoyed kind of walking alongside these wagons as they've traveled across the West. And being an American, this is all a part of our history. And it's fascinating in that sense. So I can see how this might not be as interesting for someone who isn't born in the US, but it is for me. And I also grew up in Montana, so it was very rural. That's where Lewis and Clark went through. So was a ton of my like childhood memories that come from events such as this, where we would go to the big whole battlefield. And so this is a bit nostalgic and definitely more detailed than I knew even about the Oregon Trail. And so I'm really enjoying that aspect of this story. I'm also just getting really drawn into the parts that talk about the interactions with the Native Americans, which was very accurate to this time in history with the white settlers going west and there being people there. There being Native people that lived there and their cultures and their way of life and how it was just so starkly different. And it tells that story through a lot of different ways. It tells it through kind of his story and his family and thinking about his grandmother in the village. It talks about it when they run into that war chief that had taken the mules from John, and then that kid Wyatt got him back, I believe his name was. And so that interaction was just really tense and just scary, as well as the time when she starts like painting everybody's faces and just those interactions where it talks about how he could just take her. He could take her and make her one of his wives. And that just seemed so tense. That part of the story was so tense. And so it's like, you have all this buildup. You know that they are going to be attacked. Their wagon is going to be attacked. When, I'm not sure. Where the John guy is, I'm not sure. Because I now know that when the wagon gets attacked, she's already married. Because that's about to happen, I think, in the next chapter. And so I feel like there's a lot of pieces that are still out there that I'm curious about. The mystery of kind of what's going to happen. And then how is she going to survive being captured? things like that. I'm so curious about. So I'll just keep reading because something's going to happen and I feel like it's going to get intense again. And it hasn't been so far. And I'm kind of anticipating that. So anyway, I'll check with you guys soon. Okay guys, I have been reading and this book is becoming quite the tearjerker. And I feel like I knew that. And that actually reminds me, I was laughing at one of your comments on Goodreads that said we should rename this book club the Tearjerker Book Club after these last 2 books. And I agree. And I think next month is gonna be just as bad. And so I hope it's not like too heavy. Man, we picked these books and I wasn't really anticipating super heavy historical fiction books. But then again, I mean, historical fiction books can be kind of heavy. So anyway, I hope you all are surviving this slightly emotional book. I didn't get very far since the last time I updated you, but I had to stop because I'm just like, I couldn't handle it anymore. And I know there's worse stuff coming because the part I'm at is where they just get married, which was really fun. I enjoyed that. And then they got on the trail again and then they got attacked. And so the book has been leading up to this part for a while. We knew it was coming and then it was just here and I'm like, oh wait, but I'm not emotionally ready, even though it's like we've had 200 pages to handle it. But really what got me was the part with the boys, the part where he comes up, where John comes up in his new wagon or whatever, and the 2 boys come running from the like massacre site and they are just so sad. And then he is telling them that he can't go with them, that they have to be brave and they have to go by themselves to catch up to the wagon train. And I'm just like bawling because I just want to give these little boys a hug and I just want to be like, it'll be okay, you'll be okay, you'll be okay. And it's like my mama heart can't handle that, even though like even now I'm like crying about it. But even though I know that he's probably going to be going into some even tougher things, right? Because he's going to go find Naomi and Wolf with the Native Americans, and it's just like, I think bad things are coming. But I think this was so hard for me, just like my mama heart really wanted to be like, boys, it'll be okay. And I can't imagine like sending my children off by themselves in a wagon without any adults, you know, even though I think one of the children is a little bit older. I think he's a little bit older. Anyway, so that's my update. I haven't made it too much further and I know I have more to come, but I just want to know if any of you were just wrecked by that part with the boys, because I was wrecked. I told you that I was kind of planning on upping my plant game this month, and so I picked up 3 new plants. I repotted a bunch of plants, I added fertilizer, I got them all ready for spring, and it looks really nice. And so I'm going to take you around to the new plants and show you kind of what they are. I'll probably just put the names of the plants on the screen in case you are curious, in case you have been wanting to get into plants as well. So enjoy this little plant break. So I finished the book. I finished Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon, and I loved it. I loved it, you guys. I think I loved it more than The Four Winds. I am giving it 5 stars. I was kind of debating between 4.5 and 5 stars, but I'm giving it 5 stars. And I finished it last night, but I was just too late to vlog about it, and I was just all upset about it still. And so for those of you who finished it, you know why. So I think I left off where John just started following Naomi and he sent the May boys on to catch the wagon train. Pretty sure that's where I was. And so from there on, it just goes quickly, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of character build up. There was a lot of setting build up till that point, but then it goes quickly. I feel like the fact that he got her back was amazing. Like, I was almost surprised that that happened. And based on how the author had to set that all up, like where he was half Pawnee, how he knew a woman in the Shoshone tribe who happened to marry the chief, sort of idea. So there was all these connections that allowed him to go into that community and not be in as much danger as maybe somebody else, because that is what I was thinking. I was like, if this was any other wagon, odds are if they took a woman, they weren't going to get her back, and she probably wasn't going to get treated very kindly. I guess I see it more as like a prisoner of war. I'm not sure if that's true or if that's even correct in my thinking, but I was thinking like, it's probably going to go bad for anybody who's captured. Really, you know what I mean? And so the fact that he was able to get her back, I mean, she definitely had hardships, and some of those parts were very hard to read. But I guess in my head, I was expecting almost worse treatment. What I did really like about her character at the end of the book is it felt very real. So it felt very much like she's tough, yes, but she's also human, and she had to kind of like emotionally shut down in order to handle the situation she was put into, in order to withstand it so that she could potentially get her brother back. And so that seemed like that made sense, that she had to kind of disengage emotionally to handle the situation. And then after like he rescued her and she wasn't able to bring her brother with her, that part was so sad and so upsetting. Like, that was just like, I couldn't imagine having to walk away knowing that he was still there. I also appreciated the steps it took her to kind of get back to normal, and then how she was feeling guilty for enjoying some part of her life when her whole family is killed and Wolf is still with the Indian tribe and things like that. And so I thought that was very realistic, where she was slowly healing but guilty and dealing with just kind of all the things that happened, and dealing with the fact that she can't leave her brother, and the fact that they can stay with the Shoshone tribe for a bit was just really good. And there were some characters there, like I think it was a Lost Woman character I really liked. I liked her character. Oh, but then you all know how it ended, and I didn't expect that. I didn't expect the poor boy to die. Oh my gosh, yes, tear-jerker book club for sure. I honestly, as I was going into it, I thought they'd get him back. Wasn't sure how, and because I was like, okay, they're sticking around, they're just in the next valley over, right? So I'm like, somehow they're gonna get him back. I just didn't expect it like that, and I was like, oh no, that made me so sad. Like, I was just crying, and I mean, it was right at the end, so it was like I just pushed through that part, and like them getting back on the trail and finding her other brothers and kind of going on with life. So that part was so sad, and I didn't see it coming. I don't know, did anybody else see it coming? How did you think the part with her brother Wolf was going to kind of conclude? Because I didn't think that was how it was going to conclude. I mean, in one way it did give her the closure she needed to leave, so I did feel like that made sense, and that helped the story kind of close some loops, which I do appreciate in a lot of books. I mean, for me, like I said, I loved it. 5 stars. I felt really invested in the characters. I felt really transported to the setting, to that time in history, to kind of understand some of those conflicts, those challenging intertribal conflicts, challenging white community tribal conflicts, those things, as well as just the hardships of life on the trail. I just thought this book did an excellent job of pulling us in. And so, yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really good. It actually kind of surprised me. I didn't predict that I was going to love it like I did. I thought I would like it. I was interested in it, but I really, really liked it. So anyway, I'd love to know below what you all thought of the book. How many stars did you give it? What was your favorite part? If you didn't like it, because I know some of you didn't like it. I've seen that in some of the comments. Why didn't you like it? Please tell me. I am very interested in that, because I can see how different perspectives might view this book in a different way. So I would love to hear that as well. And then, as a reminder, I just got this in the mail yesterday. This is our book for June. So The Children's Blizzard by Melanie Benjamin. So this is the book I ran the giveaway on. So 3 of you got a copy. So this is the plan for next month. And like I said, I think this is also going to be kind of an emotionally challenging book. But then after that, I think we take a little bit of a break. The July book is Where the Crawdads Sing. So I'm not sure if that's less or more emotional. I'm thinking it's less. I could be wrong. Anyway, so that's the plan for June. I'm so happy I read Where the Lost Wander, though. So happy. It's upside down. It's such a good book. Let me know what you think. So anyway, that's where I'm going to end this vlog. Thank you for coming along with me. So I hope you all have a wonderful May and start of summer, and I will see you in the next reading vlog. Okay.